Whether you're a die-hard fan or just looking for a good laugh, this monthly series promises to deliver the unexpected with a dash of humor. Tune in as Gene and BT dissect the what-the-fuck moments that makes pro wrestling the exciting spectacles they are. It's time to let loose and embrace the madness with the WTF News Desk, where Gene and BT bring you the 10 strangest and most fun topics each month, leaving you entertained, amused, and eagerly awaiting the next episode.
All right, we're live from 304 Studios in Jonesboro, Arkansas. This is an STSpod.club production. Gene, it's raining so heavy here, it could drown a frog. Have you ever heard that saying?
Oh, I have when I was a kid.
All right, I think so.
I hadn't heard it since I was a kid, but I had to hear it then. We don't have any rain going here in Alabama right now, but it's moving in.
Gene, by the way, he shared some wisdom with me this past week. He told me the shit apple doesn't fall far from the shit tree. That's something I'd never heard before, but I appreciate that wisdom. This is episode 93 of WTF, episode 1014 of STSpod.club. Thank you for joining us here on a Friday afternoon. By the way, Gadsden State Community College plays their next game on Monday against, and you might have to help me with this, it looks like it says Mississippi State Community College at 3 p.m. That's the men's team, and if you come early, 1 p.m., you can watch the girls play. That guy over there, he is wrestling's know-it-all, my partner in crime, my best friend, well, most of the time. He's Gene Jackson, and together we are the Pop and the Heat of Wrestling podcast. How the hell are you, Gene?
I'm confused, but I'm here. Sound like you've been watching Trailer Park Boys or something. That sound like something Mr. Leahy would say, the shit apple and the shit tree and all that. But
Mississippi. I don't know what
Mississippi is. I lived in Mississippi the first half of my life. I've lived in Alabama the second half, and I've never heard of Mississippi in either place.
It's spelled Pellissippi.
I'll try to do some research on that before.
I was like, yeah. Well, you got to get down there. It's going to be against them at the State Community College. So, and Monday if you're not doing anything. We'll do some quick business. Instagram record. We broke the record on Instagram by 46%. Facebook was the second best of 2025. We do not have the final numbers, but Gene, it will be the second best year. And I'm saying that it'll be the second best year, but the year that we broke 2.6 million, we had a very, very active viral video going. So if you take that viral video out, 2025 was our biggest year ever.
Wow.
So yeah, it's crazy. YouTube numbers of just 2025 were up 520% better than 2024. It is because I have increased the shorts, but also, you can put a short on there or a video and you'll get one look sometimes. Overall, 185% increase on audio plays. So I was excited about that. Every month we do the top 3 episodes, and this month we only had 2 new episodes, and we usually don't. Well, we had Rolling Into Info, but we don't put Rolling Into Info in this because they usually are the top. I'll make a note on something real quick, but the number 3 episode, and I reached out to you about this, was a flashback episode. Was it really that good with me and you doing about the snowman? And it was also the top viewed YouTube full video on the page for the month. So not a lot because I don't have a lot on my YouTube. when it comes to YouTube. I get a lot on shorts, but I don't get a lot on the videos. But yes, that seems to always be interesting to everybody.
Yeah, people must find that fascinating. I made a compilation of like that whole angle, week to week to week, but then put it on one big video, and it's got thousands and thousands of hits. I forget what it was up to the last time I saw it, but it was enough to kind of shock me. Like, holy shit! Like, I didn't figure most people even knew who the Sandman was or Snowman was, much less have that much interest in that long ass. Because when you put it all together, it was like an hour and a half or something, but. Yeah, people find that fascinating, and it is fascinating when you consider that they were trying to make it a work shoot, and Lawler started out the heel, and they kind of swap roles along the way. If you haven't seen it, and you don't really know what we're talking about right now, you can go to YouTube, to the Retro Wrestling Archive, and just
we got the
Jerry
podcast
Lawler
up there
Snowman.
too. Yeah, you
Yes.
can get the podcast is up there. We talk about the whole angle and everything. Fun show. The Christmas yesterday on X on Thursday. If you go on X today, you'll see our top 5 episodes for the year. And it was interesting to see. Our halftime show was number 1, but number 2 was the episode with you. So it kind of shows you that was audio plays, but it really does show you the influence of us putting everything together. Number 2 was a Christmas cringe crossover episode 1010. And then number 1 last month, and it was number 1 overall, even over all the Rolling into Memphis episodes. It was a WTF News Desk episode 92 and episode 10082. So we are ready right now for What the Fuck December. I want to warn everyone, or let you all know, if you're a Patreon member, Gene and I are going to do something a little different. We probably won't cover stories this time. There's a few segments from my old buddy, Jeff Jarrett. I want to play those. I'm not going to play them on the main feed, but we're going to play them on Patreon. We're going to comment about them. So join us on Patreon. Also, after number 1 gets done, we will, as we always do, announce the 2025 What the Fuckinator. Now, that's the person with the most mentions on the show. We actually eliminated Tony Khan and Dave Meltzer out of that because we talk about their names. But the third person, or really we're going to make that person number 1, we'll have an award there at the very end. So let's get started with, as always, at number 10, we do There's Something Strange Out There. Gene, I'm going to throw something up on the screen here. There's 3 wrestling posters. What the fuck?
What the fuck?
Yeah, that didn't work.
Oh, you must have them loaded under background instead of overlay.
Stick with us, guys. Stick with us. Fucking shit. Wait. There we go. There we go. There's 3 posters. Now, if you're not watching the video, guys, you should watch the video. All right, I'm just saying. But I'm going to describe them. We got 3 matches. Extreme Championship, finish it now. 2 minutes of mayhem. 2 minutes? Is that real? Tokyo Madness, this is Tokyo Madness. Only one of these is real. This is an exploding barbed wire match in Tokyo. Madman Johnson against the Great Ono. God, I love that mask. And it was in it was on December the 19th. Or the third match is the 10-man scaffold match. That's right, a 10-man scaffold match there in Corkin Hall. So, which one is real, Gene?
Oh God, I'm like 0-6 in these things now or whatever. But I've tried to use strategy in the past and it didn't work, so I'm going to go with the opposite. I'm going to say the 10-man scaffold match is real.
I love that. I love what AI did to that, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, it's not. It was the 2-minute match. They had
Son of a bitch.
They had an Extreme Championship match, and in an Extreme Championship match, all of a sudden, it ends in 2 minutes. I'm just thinking, oh crap, that would have been pissed me off, especially if I was the guy that they was promoting and all that kind of stuff. So there we go. Gene's also, he's still not got one down yet. That's all right. We still love you, Gene.
I'm doing the Kurt Hawkins gimmick from years ago. Losing streak.
Up above Gene, I just want to say before we get to number 9, for another year, 2026, we got Spunk Lube the whole year. So thank y'all. I appreciate it. Spunky's been with us for Spunky's been with us for 7 years, Gene. Right there it is.
I don't know how comfortable I am with that being right on top of my head.
I knew you was going to say that. All right, you know what number 9 is. Every month what the fuck, Dave? We had a few things that I wanted to talk about. He put in there about his star matches, okay? The matches, 5-star matches. And this is going to surprise you, Gene. 21 5-star matches for AEW in 2025, 6 for New Japan, 6 for CMLL, 4 from Stardom, and 4 from the WWE.
Well. No, I have to say that's not surprising. Actually, it's kind of surprising that WWE was given 4, but
that really doesn't surprise me. But you know what? Really, I just want to mention this because for the people that talk about, he loves AEW, he loves New Japan, you got to read some of the old observers. Me and Gene's been doing some research for certain podcasts, and we go through the old observers. Man, he had his favorites back then too, but you're talking less than 1,000 people get the observer, but he influenced people like crazy. So this is going to surprise you. I don't know if I put this on your list, but he ran an injury stats. He always does it. He said it's usually about 12% of the roster is injured at any time, either on AEW or WWE. So AEW is up to 14% this year. No surprise.
yeah.
But WWE is down to 8%. So what style would you want to work, Gene?
And 6% of that's Seth Rollins.
It is. That is. Sorry, Seth, but he's right about that. Here's a tweet that he had to mention. So Gunther is working, Gene. This is a wrestling business. He's working. He said, I don't consider myself a sports entertainer. I consider myself a professional wrestler. He's getting ready for the Cena match. And we all know what Cena is. He's a sports entertainer. But Dave has to come up here and say 2 terms that actually are the same thing.
Not really, Dave. But and clearly he and Gunther, I think, was even fed that line because at the ending of the match, Michael Cole made it a point to say, tonight, professional wrestling won out over sports entertainment.
Right,
so
right.
That was part of the story there. But,
that is him that he has had to make him figure out what the hell was going on with that. I don't know. He had to point that out, that it's the same thing, which, I get, but that's what it was, part of the storyline. It was the work. And here's his final thing. And I just want to make a point. It's almost like he don't know the story. And we've talked about this, especially in those old issues. It's like he just makes up something. So let's listen to this.
Tanahashi did want to face Nakamura. I guess the idea from the story is that Nakamura had been told, because he wanted this match himself, that he wanted to be a free agent, that he wanted to give notice, and so there'd be no politics involved. If he was a free agent, it could be Tanahashi Nakamura. And as the story says, and I don't know if this is accurate or not, this one I have not been able to confirm, essentially the WWE would not release Nakamura, but they wanted Nakamura. The feeling is WWE wanted Nakamura to do the show with the idea that it would screw with AEW. But, New Japan at that point went with Okada because they didn't want to. It's a double thing, It's number one, not wanting to screw with AEW, but more working with WWE would be considered bad for New Japan because of both of their longtime partners. You know, AEW is actually a short-time partner, but their longest partner is CMLL. And CMLL is now in a war with WWE.
Does it feel like he just made that story up about Nakamura?
Yeah, it definitely feels like speculation, you know.
He just all of a sudden says, "Well, this is what's going on, and this is what's happening," and then he gives his whole thing about. Do you know that if they could have worked that out, it's not going to be a big deal about CML and AEW. I'm sorry. Both of those promotions are going to continue to work with New Japan if WWE comes across.
Yeah. But, you know, talking about us reading them old ones, but the more and more I go through those, you would see him throw something out, you know, like, oh, this person's going here. And then it doesn't happen. He never really comes back and says he was wrong. He'll just say, well, plans changed and they stayed where they were, or something happened. He makes it sound like it was always going to happen and then something happened. But the truth is he was just guessing. He guessed wrong, and sometimes he don't even acknowledge it. But the times he does acknowledge it, it was going to happen, but circumstances changed. So
it's just weird. It's just like that I know somebody had to run with that story about what he said.
Oh, yeah.
It's like it was all just speculation about, and the idea, I'm going to tell you, you know, CMLL, and if they called them tomorrow and said they could get a WWE worker on their show, they would, even though they're drawing gazillion people a year now, they still would do that. WWE means more than the other promotions. It really does. And I'm surprised that they didn't use Nakamura. I was really surprised about that. Yeah. Well, that's it for Dave. What the fuck? Number 8. I was just going to skip over that. This is a video that was played, and then I'm going to pop up. Me and you had some interaction with this guy. We only said one thing, and he did a couple of things back, and we just ignored them. But here was his, we're talking about that referee mistake.
This is crazy. I can't believe this. So first the girls fuck up, and the referee doesn't help them out by creating a little wiggle room and saying, nope, there was a little bit of a, nope, she had her shoulder up a little bit, nope, two. So the referee doesn't help out the girls. The girls fuck up. The referee doesn't help out the girls. And then the timekeeper doesn't ring the goddamn bell, even though the referee says to ring the bell. And then he has to come over and be like, ring the fucking bell. And then the timekeeper rings the bell. So you have a cascade of everybody making everybody look foolish in this situation. Man, you talk about a teachable moment. HBK, it's time to go to school. This will be shown to everybody in NXT till the end of time. This will be showed to the wrestlers, the referees, and the timekeepers, everybody, and the commentators too. Because this is a cascade of failure.
Well, I'm not a know-it-all. Gene is, I'm not. But I know more than you. We had an interaction with him. I don't know why this was made to be such a big deal. And this guy was right no matter what we said. I actually commented, if you're watching video, you can see, but my tweet was just, it was the referee's fault. He made a mistake. I mean, it wasn't the referee's fault. He didn't make a mistake. The girls made the mistake. And then you wrote something about, it's amazing how many people either inside wrestling business or on the fringe of it, like this guy, are crying about the finish and don't get it. So, Gene, go ahead. What happens when the shoulders are down? What is supposed to happen?
The referee counts until either the shoulder comes up or, well, I mean, that's really it. Either the shoulder comes up and they stop the count or they make the count, because it's on the wrestlers to kick out. It's all the referee looks. He's talking about people looking foolish. The referee's the one who would have looked foolish if he stopped counting when the shoulder was down, and that's happened a lot over the years. There's been a bunch of times where referees knew it wasn't the finish, and they just stopped the count when the shoulders were clearly down, and the referee looks like an asshole, and it still exposes the business. You know, nobody would have known that wasn't the finish. I mean, yeah, you could speculate, but if the referee would have just counted 3 and then the timekeeper rings the bell as soon as he signals, nobody would have been none the wiser. But
No,
instead, we've got these, people. Who the fuck is that guy anyway?
I
Who's
don't
just
know.
talking?
He gets. I like some of his stuff, but I left his name up here, so his name is the Joe Cronin Show, and it's at Meta World. Watch the video, or I'll send it to you if you want to follow. I follow him, but he was off on this one. If the referee and you know what? I usually don't get mad at spellings because I'm horrible. I hate the way he spelled ref with 2 L's.
Yeah.
I was like, and so here's the deal. 1, 2, 3. The referee's got to do it. His complaint was he should have bailed people out. No, he shouldn't have. That's not his job. His job is 1, 2, 3. I'm with him. Now, when he motioned for the timekeeper, yes, should have rang the bell. The music thing was not a big deal because you can say, oh, they got it wrong, and then push the other music.
Yeah.
But everybody made a big deal about it. This happens on shows all the time. I was always taught, and I always told my referees, you do not want to look stupid. So don't do any. That's the main thing, but also count. I always wanted my referees to have some kind of, don't be seen, but have some kind of, authority so that that people know who you are and what's going on. But yeah, I thought this was good, mainly because we got some interaction. And I think
I was on a show recently where a title change that wasn't supposed to because the champion didn't kick out or get her shoulder up. And the referee counted 3 because that's what he's supposed to do. And, of course, everybody else is sitting there with their jaw on the floor because it clearly wasn't the finish. But the referee did right. When we got back there after the show, I shook his hands like, good job, man. That's what you need to do. That's what you're supposed to do. They can figure it out from here how they're going to, get out of this. But you did what you needed to do.
That's the way I always was taught and I always did. So might not know it all, but I know more than you. That was number 8. Well, we're up to number 7, and I'm just going to play the video because he's starting to become one of those. He's on every show, fussing about Cena. So I love this. I love it. And it's okay. So we know what you're doing. All right, we know what you're doing, Ortega. I can't even say his name. Go ahead. You say it.
Otunga. Because
guess what? These were all put out during the Cena's retirement thing. So he's just trying to get some clicks, but here we go.
Now, Cena only got physical with me in the ring because when we came backstage, it was just verbal and emotional abuse in front of everybody. But he knew better than to put his hands on me then. I'm going to tell you right now, if John Cena put his hands on me backstage, I would have beat the dog shit out of John Cena. And fast. Actually, it probably would have been better if it was just a physical altercation because at least I could have ended things quickly. But the fact that it was just this verbal abuse, I couldn't really do anything but take it. I'm a rookie, so I guess I just have to eat that and be humiliated in front of the entire locker room, the agents, the audience, and talked down to, disrespected. The undertones thrown around, like, this is what I mean. It's taken me 15 years to tell this story, but I feel like I finally just need to get this off my chest, and this is what happened.
And Cena's retiring, and I don't know, I got some clicks. And he would have whooped the dog shit out of John Cena.
Dog shit old John Cena. Oh, my God. Yeah, how convenient you decided to get this off your chest while John Cena is in the middle of his retirement, the end of his retirement tour. He's doing all these talk shows and everything. And he's just hoping and praying that somebody will ask John Cena about this at some point. But
that's the way. It's just so funny about it. It's almost like we got to axe the grind, but we're going to wait. And number 6 kind of like that too. But we got to axe the grind, and we're not going to say anything until John Cena decides he's retired. So I've had bad interactions with wrestlers before, as you know, Drew Lawler. We smoothed that over. But it happens. And Cena was might have been an asshole, but he was probably trying to help this guy. It's one of those things where you can't have your feelings on you, especially if you're backstage and you're a rookie. You can't have your feelings on your shoulders. You can't say, "Oh, I know," which a lot of rookies and people that ask you, "Well, what should I have done?" Well, you tell them and they say, "Oh, I know." You can't be like that. You got to shut up and absorb. And if Cena was telling me something, I don't care if he was bullying me or what, I'm going to shut up and absorb it. And that's probably one of his problems. But I think it's funny that we're going to see him every month. Maybe we won't see him again next month. So.
Yeah, I don't know unless somebody in the news next month is someone that he can glom onto and tell some story about. But I mean,
he's a grifter, ain't he? That's what he is.
Yeah, it's just in those situations where you just come from the ring from a match, there's such an adrenaline dump there. Then somebody, if you screwed up, they're probably going to yell at you because they're still fired up and everything. It's like if he didn't touch you, if he didn't physically threaten you, then. Everybody that's ever been in wrestling's been through that. I have. I know you have. You've had guys yell at you about something in front of other people before. I'm not sitting.
I've yelled.
I've
yelled. I've been back.
Yeah, I've been on both sides of that.
Yeah, I came back through for a tag match one night. I was ready to fight because when I told everybody to go to the finish, the babyfaces decided to get every fucking move they could do in, and I said, "No, that's not what happens on a hot tag." Well, we got beat up the whole time. They got beat up the whole time. They were baby faces. They got beat up the whole time. So, I was real pissed off. All right, that was number 5. Number 7. I don't even know numbers today. That was a retro moment, as every month is a retro moment. I'm trying my best to have something for each number, but number 6. Here was just something I had to comment on. We got a lawsuit going on John Cena's theme music. The time is now. Entrance music. I had to look this up. He started using this song in 2005. So after 20 years, we're going to try our best to sue him for more money.
That's wild that everybody is waiting for Cena's final moments of his career to come out of the woodwork and make one last money grab here. Because I was thinking, I didn't realize it was that long, but I knew he'd been using that music for a long, long time, 20 years, and now here we are with our hand out going, no, you owe us some money for this. Crazy.
Well, they apparently had reached a settlement of some sort in 2017, but they're trying their best again to get more money filed in December of this year. All right, guys, that was, even though I can't fucking count, but we have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 coming up. Did I do that right? Yeah.
Yes.
We have that coming up. First, we will have halftime, but we got a couple commercials. When we come back, we'll go right into halftime. Just stick with us, man. Oh, yeah. Y'all know what that means. BT's dancing a little bit, and it is halftime. All right. I grabbed something from an observer that Dave said. We're using Dave a lot this month, but he makes me say what the fuck a lot of times. But I wanted to touch this because we both, you worked a lot more matches as a wrestler than I did. We might have come close to the total amount of shows that we done together. Done separately. I might have done a lot more shows, or you might. We're close. I think the number's close. You wrestled a lot. I wrestled 18 matches. That's all I wrestled. But he stated something. They had an incident at CMLL, and the old tradition was that they throw bottles at the bad guys, the heels, if you will. They don't want that to happen now because the audience has changed. It's almost like it's tourist. I almost said terrorist, but that would have been the wrong word. Tourist, and they really don't want it to happen. And then Dave makes this statement: real heat is selling out buildings and crowds going crazy which this promotion does all the time. So my question is, I think this is one of those things that, and I hate to say this, but one of those things, if you're not in the business, you don't get, because if you do your job as a heel and you get heat in front of 120 people, that's heat. You're still getting heat. Am I looking at this wrong?
No, there's a couple of terms in wrestling that's gotten misused over the years by newsletter people and fans and different things. And because I know, like, Dave and a lot of people, they would refer to someone losing a match as jobbing, like they did the job. But technically, in wrestling terms, that's not what losing the match isn't doing a job. Doing a job is just getting squashed. Just no offense, no anything. You just get beat up and pinned. That's what a job is.
Do you want me to show you the text exchange I had with my former co-host about this, about what a job and a jobber is? It's just ridiculous.
Sure.
It's the people. No, I won't. But you do. I can. I'll text it to you later. But it is the idea. That's not what we looked. We do not call that a job. Now, I've done that because I got into this terminology that work rate, all this kind of stuff. But like you said, a job is no offense whatsoever. Watch some Memphis Wrestling with us. Watch USWA podcast. No offense.
Yeah. Chris Frazier is a jobber.
Right.
But if Bill Dundee gets pinned by Eric Embry, that wasn't a job.
He didn't do a job. Right.
Loss. So then heat is kind of the same way. Like, you got Dave giving this definition of heat, but from the way I was taught, heat is you going out and making the audience angry through your work, through your promo, your match, the cheating, the things that a heel does. That's heel heat. I don't know how heat became this generic term of selling out the building and getting over with the fans. No, that's you're either a babyface and you get a pop, or you're a heel and you get heat. Those are two different things for two different sides of the fence, essentially.
And my deal with this is, if you got 120 people and they're all pissed off at the heel manager or the heels, then that's heat.
Yeah.
His definition was you got to have sellouts to get heat. Now, if you done an angle that worked and it got heat, you may see an increase in your gates. You may see an increase in your gates, but that doesn't mean that when I hit that Dakota, the girl with the clipboard, and she bladed and the place went quiet, that I wasn't getting heat. That crowd hated me. Let me tell the story. So I had to get the police. No, I didn't, but I thought I would tell that story anyway.
Hey, how many people would you say was typically at that Gibson show?
A little over 100, maybe 120.
So me and Neil Taylor went up there as Southern Destruction.
Right.
We were anti-Southern people and feuded with Southern Pride, and they carried their damn Confederate flag to the ring. And we built up to a point where we stole their flag. Commissioner Mike Anthony come out there to try to take the flag back from us. We attacked Mike, rolled him up in that flag, and then had lighter fluid, allegedly. We sprayed him down and was fixing to drop a match on him when Southern Pride hit the ring for the save. That was heat. People were not happy with us that day at all. But the thing is, if you're in front of a crowd of 12 people, if you go out and do your shtick and 12 people want to kill you, and the hopefully one security guard they got's holding them all back, that's heat. It doesn't matter if the place is sold out or not. It's bad business. The promoter needs kicked in the ass, but as a heel, you've done your job.
And it wasn't really that statement really wasn't a stab at Dave. It wasn't a what the fuck. It was just the idea that I wanted to, sometimes I feel like we're stroking an ego or something, but we're not really. I don't want people to think, me and Gene think, well, we've been in the business. But a person that's been around the business, even the least amount Gene does more than me, but the least amount we've done, okay? So we understand, but we're going to know more. And that getting all that stuff confused makes Dave look even worse. So to me, it really does.
And I think I'm going to pose that question to Doug and Tommy on the next show. Hey, for the fans listening, can you guys describe what heat is in professional wrestling and
see if they see it different
see if it's
than we
closer
do.
to our definition or if it's closer to Dave's definition.
All right, good deal. Thanks for joining us, folks, for halftime.
She's hood. She's hood. She's hood.
I just played that. I just wanted to play this video for that. Let me find it real quick. She Elektra Lopez was with the WWE. I don't think she is anymore. I don't even know who she was, but she was at WrestleCade, and a video popped up, 20-second video. This will be a reason to watch our videos. Yeah, I just had to play that. I probably got a strike for that song, but that was a nice big booty.
Yeah, it'd be worth the strike.
And speaking of WrestleCade, well, our old buddy Jimmy Hart, he was at the venue taking pictures, and guess what happened, Gene? You know, somebody, some smart be acting crazy because they stole his megaphone. What the fuck is this about?
WrestleCade's a great event. I've gone many times, but this year Jimmy Hart's megaphone got stolen. I don't remember if it was last year or year before. But the AML Heavyweight Championship belt, which is huge.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah,
of a belt got stolen. I don't know that it ever turned back up. I won't spoil. I'll let you tell the story of how this plays out. But
they did find it. Apparently, somebody turned it in, and they didn't make a big deal about it. So
they had him. They had him on tape, dead to rights. So they
did. I didn't know that. No,
yes,
I didn't know
they had him on video, and so they sent him a message and said, "Look, we've talked to Jimmy. If you will return his megaphone, we won't charge. There'll be no charges. There'll be no mention of it again. But if you don't, we can press charges." And he packed it up, shipped it back to him, and it's over with. But I don't think that belt ever turned back up, as far as I know.
Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. The last thing is Smarks be acting crazy. We had Nikki Bella on her podcast because there was rumors, which I didn't hear, but there was rumors that she sleeps because she's single. She sleeps with fans. Well, that we do know that a lot of wrestlers, that's exactly what they did when they were on the road. And I'm not going to say some weren't single, but allegedly they weren't single. But I wanted to present this to you, Gene, so you feel better about everything. She does not sleep with fans. Do you feel better about all of that?
Well, 'cause she ain't sleeping, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Jesus. How crazy to have to go and make that statement because of rumors flying around. But
I didn't hear the rumors, but yeah. All right. Number 4 always is wrestlers behaving badly. She wasn't behaving badly, folks. That was the fans saying she was behaving. So here's the first one. This has been covered on P3 Radio also, but we just had to.
Woo! To my man Eric from Tina, family, and the military boy. Woo! I guess it's a beautiful gift. I'm not sure why. Oh, bachelor gift. Gotcha, man. Eric has a tattoo of your famous. Woo! God, Eric, so many women do. So more to do. Now he's getting married. Oh my God. Why would you get married, motherfucker? It's the worst possible commitment you could do. Because as of the day you get married, 50% of everything is hers. I don't care how beautiful she is. Stay her girlfriend. His family, Tina, and the military boys want to wish him the best of luck. Matt says diamonds are forever, and so is Ric Flair. And that's the God's honest truth, brother. I'm a diamond. I'm forever. I've overstayed my welcome, and my name is Ric Flair. Woo!
All right, Gene, that was less than a minute, 2 minutes. It was like 1 minute and 40 seconds. This guy said he paid $600 for him to sit at the restaurant. This guy then said, I guess he paid nearly $1,000 to have someone's brother admire enough to have a tattoo and did it. So, and he said, keep being his girlfriend. That's what he said.
Yeah. I mean, the thought that the guys paid $1,000, the other guy paid $600. All I could think is I'm sitting there listening to that, looking at him. This guy is one of the greatest promo guys of the 80s, the 90s, maybe of all time. And he's sitting there sounding like Rocky Balboa just had a stroke while, high as a kite. Like
did you notice
so
it looks
sad,
like he's
dude.
been blading too?
Yes.
What the hell? Where was he blading at?
He's getting cancer spots removed. He's got like skin cancer or something.
Oh, my bad, Ric Flair.
Yeah, when he came to Philadelphia when we were up there, he had just had something done the day before, and so he was all patched up on his forehead, and it looked like he'd just had like a cage match or something. But no, they said he'd had some cancer removed the day before. But
oh man,
that's just. I mean, at this point, it's just sad. Like, somebody needs to wrangle him in and, like, look, dude, quit. Just quit while you still have some shred of your legacy left.
No, there's not.
Quit
I mean, he's made
yourself.
$600, $1,000. He's just sitting around in a restaurant. We done found out a couple months back he was shitting himself in the restaurant. So he's shitting himself and making cameos. Crazy. And speaking of crazy. Speaking of crazy, here we go.
Hey, Cole, can you stay with me a sec? Will you marry me?
He's not freaking out. Help him!
All right, for all those that were just watching or just listened to the audio, it was a video of Darby Allin legitimately setting his brother afar, and while he proposed to his fiance on one knee. How stupid is that shit?
I was gonna say, I was watching that Ric Flair video, thinking this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen, and then this happens, and now the Ric Flair video don't seem quite as ridiculous. There's another R word I wanted to use, but it's not politically correct to say these days. But dear God,
if there's anybody going to die in wrestling, it's going to be Darby Allin, and because he don't give a shit, but he does all kinds of crazy shit. And even he's doing it to his brother now. So I
was gonna say, it's one thing to do all this crazy stuff to himself, but he's setting his brother on fire, and there's people giggling on the video as he's on fire. He doesn't know it, and they're like, hee hee hee. And then he starts rolling around trying to put himself out, and the laughter increases. Like,
what was that old commercial? Drop and roll.
Yeah, stop, drop, and roll.
And this was taped, which shouldn't have got out, but it was taped after John Cena lost.
Because he left them raggedy ass sketches in the ring, cuz. I don't even know what kind of brand it is. But they dog, John, love you, dog. I'm a go, so I don't fuck. I'm cussing.
You can't cuss. You can get emotional, though. Give us a yeet and be on your way, okay?
I think maybe he had been drinking. What do you think?
Has anyone else appeared drunk on camera more times than Jey Uso? I mean, there's that famous
Yeet where Yeet started.
Yeah, where he and Cody won the tag team titles, and he's in that press conference, and he's just shithoused. I mean, it's like, how did y'all let him walk? I mean, you could look at him and tell, like, well, how did y'all let him walk out here for this press conference just drunk off his ass? And Cody, you can tell, doesn't even really know how to even deal with it, but
Yeet.
Yeet, indeed. Former world champion right there. Tapped out the almighty Gunther, who is now retiring people left and right, but he tapped out to Jey Uso 8 months
And
ago.
Jay wants to say, Jay don't even say anything about that. He's just drunk as shit and doesn't even matter to him. So
Making fun of Cena's shoes. I don't even know what brand him is. Okay.
That was number 4, and number 3 is Shock Me. Oh, wrestling's shocking moments. We get a kick out of this, but we've turned it into Tony Khan. I've only brought 2 stories about Tony, and one of them also has Dave in it. So I want you. Tony said something which I'm going to say beforehand. This is typical wrestlers that do this, or wrestling promoters. You always going to try to work people and tell them that you're doing fine and the promotion's doing great, But here we go. This is so funny to me.
Did you see the Tony Khan quotes about how he says that they're closer to WWE?
Oh, they've closed the gap this year?
Technically, in ratings, they've closed the gap because SmackDown went to USA, so their number went way down. Okay, Raw went to Netflix, so their number went way down. NXT on CW, their number didn't go way down, and AEW, their numbers went way down because of Max as well, but they didn't go down as far as the WWE numbers. So if in the both going down category, the gap is closer. Yes. When it comes to TV ratings. When it comes to attendance, not so much. When it comes to big shows, who the hell knows? But AEW certainly held up very well on pay-per-view this year. When it comes to other metrics, that I've seen, they kind of look the same as last year, and for the most part, live events. AEW, I will say that when AEW is not in a small building, they are probably a little bit up. They had like 3,300 this week. They had over 3,000 last.
He just keeps on defending AEW and what Tony said. I think Tony's delusional, and I think Dave is too. I'm surprised that they've stuck around with even especially with the pay-per-view. We've talked about that, but also with the ratings keep going lower and lower. The explanation for that is the new way to do ratings, and there's people watching on Max too. But the new way to do ratings, it's funny because NHL with the new way of doing ratings is getting more ratings, and everything else is kind of normal, but wrestling sucks when it comes to the new ratings, and AEW especially. So what was your thoughts about that, about him, about Tony and Dave thinking that AEW is just fine?
Well, I expected out of Tony's. What else is he going to say? But Dave should be a fucking politician, dude. You talking about speaking a lot without saying anything and saying things without anything to back it up. That whole WWE's numbers all went down and AEW's numbers went down, but they both went down, and there's less of a gap between their down numbers than there was. Like, what? Shut up. Just shut up. There's some things, just don't talk. If you can't not sound like an idiot in the process, then just don't talk about it.
It was bad to me because you could see he's just trying to find and I'm okay with that if he wasn't. To me, he puts himself out as a journalist, and to me, if I look as Dave as a fan, and that's what I do now, then I'm okay with it. I'm kind of okay. I still say what the fuck on a lot of stuff he says, but I'm okay with you saying that. With you saying you're a journalist, you're not presenting a story. You're speculating. And I know we have some readers or some listeners that are huge, long-time Wrestling Observer readers. And guys, I'm not saying anything anyone else is not saying. A lot of stuff has come out this year and last year that it just questions what's going on.
And you think he's on their payroll?
No, I don't think. I think he's buddies. So, my thing with Dave remember my description? I said back in the day, it was Cornette, Funk, Brody, Flair. That was maybe his top four. Anybody he hated Dusty, he hated Hogan, he hated all those. I believe that he still does that mentality of he's a huge fan. Tony Khan's a friend. Tony gives him all this information, and he becomes he loves his style. We know that by the stars he gives, but also it's like, this is the PWG style, and he loves that. So I don't know. I still subscribe, and I always probably will. It's mainly for the news, but I also consider him a fan now. That's it. And we also had Tony Khan bringing back AEW Dark for one night only on YouTube. One of the worst TV shows, and it came back for a whole night. So I know you were excited, and I know you and Rosie set aside a bunch of time to watch this. So
yeah, I missed that one. I heard it was coming back, but I don't think I used to catch an episode now and again because every other episode there were friends of mine that would end up on there, and I would at least fast forward through and find their match and watch it. But I don't think anybody I knew was on this most recent comeback of Dark. So,
oh man, one time only. Thank God. All right, number 2, we have Sarah Stock, who was with AEW, and she spent some time with WWE, also at the NXT. She came out with a bunch of crazy stories this month. The first one was that the AEW coach, Sarah Stock, went public with explosive claims accusing AEW of inhumane treatment of Mexican wrestlers. Alleged talent were flown in early with no food, no house, and nothing. Very little support. Stock called the situation disrespectful and unacceptable. WWE, she said, well, when she was at she just decided to go up on everybody. When she was at the Performance Center, she was in the office of Matt Bloom, and Matt showed her a clip that he was sent accidentally, which was an X-rated clip. And he showed it to her, and she had to tell everybody about that. And then she came out and said because of all the stuff that was going on social media and the stuff with AEW and WWE, after saying all this stuff, that she could not spend Christmas for the first time in 46 years with her family. So I don't know to say, is this true or not true, but it sounds weird with let's talk about not giving the Mexicans food.
When I saw the headline, Sarah Stock exposes AEW for inhumane treatment of Mexican wrestlers, my mind automatically pictured a bunch of luchadors in cages out behind the building. I mean, I think inhumane might be a little strong for what she's describing here. You know what I mean? Like,
I should have did an AI of that. You should have told me ahead of time.
It just hit me this time. I read it the other day, but it just hit me as I was looking at it right now. I was like, maybe, less than ideal treatment of them, or, but inhumane, that's a bit strong. But, yeah.
Motherfucker, you cocksucker! Motherfucker, you cocksucker!
But, yeah, I mean, it's somebody's always got an axe to grind, and it seems to me it kind of gets blown out of proportion.
We heard about catering. Tommy Rich and Doug were there. They talked about how awesome catering was. Did they just tell the Mexicans they couldn't have any of that food?
Now I feel like as you walk into catering, there was like a picture with like a lucha mask with the circle and the line through it, so they know they can't come in there. I'll have to ask Tommy and Doug that one too. Like, hey, did you see any Mexican wrestlers in there getting food that day? And if maybe they'll have a story about, oh yeah, we saw the one, they pitched him out into the parking lot and fired him.
They threw rocks at him too. The second one is kind of, dude, I'm sorry. If you're offended by something someone showed you, that's fine. Just say, I was offended. Don't show me that stuff anymore. And guess what? Most people understand that you don't want to watch whatever he had up there. And so people understand that. All you have to do is say, hey, I don't want to see. I had a guy sending me memes like crazy. And they were all, I'm sorry, I'm not going to reveal his name, but they were all very vulgar. I mean, just, every one of them was. Now, you know me. You've been on hot mics with me, right? Yeah. If you hadn't listened to hot mic, you're missing out. I'm only offended when it comes to Randy Travis. But I'm not offended, but I didn't want to see that stuff constantly. All you have to do is that, why did she think that this was the time, after she talks about everything with AEW, this was the time to come out and slam Matt Bloom like that?
I guess she's like, well, I'm just going to unload right now and put all my shit out here at once, and maybe I'll throw it all at the wall and see what sticks. If the AEW stuff don't stick, then maybe somebody will take offense to Prince Albert sending me an explicit video. I mean, it wasn't designated whether it was like just random.
He said somebody accidentally sent it to him, so it was probably one of the wrestlers. Apparently, we've heard that that's all.
This wasn't him railing some
no
NXT chick or something. Okay,
we've heard from various wrestlers that work for NXT. All they do is work out and screw each other. So apparently, that's what they do at NXT. And hey, they're young.
Wrestling.
They're all athletes. They're young. Go for it, man. Have fun. If you're not hurting anybody.
Better than the rats. At least you kind of know where everybody's been in that case.
That's right. And our number one story, and I wanted to talk about this, I'm a huge fan of this guy. He went to Instagram. I talked to him when I was in Evansville. I actually have talked to him on the phone since then. I like him, but I'm not sure why we have to just make everything so public about. He wanted to make a big deal about him leaving WWE. When's the last time you seen him on a WWE show?
Exactly. I think the real shock was like, you were working for WWE? We didn't know that.
What's your stance on stuff like that? Are you going to quit? Are you going to quit subscribing, or you quit watching something because of their political affiliation of stuff?
Typically not. I used to be a big fan of Mick Foley for a variety of reasons. I've become less of one each passing year. And this was just another one of those eye-rolling things where it was like, all right, dude, I get where you stand politically, but is it really that, or is it really just a case of you wanting to have your name thrust into the spotlight and you being able to be holier than thou and be like, well, I won't take their check, if they're going to support, whoever they're supporting. I think it's ridiculous how often these guys bring politics into things. I don't think there's a place for it. I don't think there's a need for it. And I don't need to know Foley's political stance, and I don't see what Triple H and different people's political stance has to do with him. But by God, he's not going to be associated with WWE anymore. All right, well, none of us even knew you were. I mean, so that's fine. Good riddance. Go do what you do. And here in a couple of years, or if you aren't making any money out on the indies, you'll be back, I'm sure. I mean, goddamn, how many times has he left at this point?
And I just hate it. I hate the idea that you have somebody that, I don't know. To me, it just keep bringing shit like that up. It doesn't make any sense to me because I don't care. Maybe it's me because I don't care. I'm not a political person. Well, I am a political person in a sense, but guess what? It's none of your fucking business. My religion and my politics. Social media has made it. You're supposed to tell that to everybody on social media and who you're screwing and who screwed you and all that kind of stuff. And, there's all kinds of shit that kills me about social media. But this is grandstanding to me.
Yeah,
this
to me, it's just like
look
Otunga.
at me. Yeah. To me, that's the way it looks. All right, guys, that was What the Fuck. We even did a halftime in there. But, as always, on the December show, we give the award for What the fuckinator. Now, the what the fuckinator is the person that we mentioned the most, and we deleted last year's winner and Dave Meltzer because we talk about them all the time. In 2019, there was a three-way tie: Cornette, McGregor, Conor McGregor, and Joey Ryan. I know that don't surprise you, Gene.
What a trio.
2020, COVID was the winner. We talked about COVID. 2021, apparently Charlotte Flair had a lot going on that year. 2022, and I got, this is Lance and my fault. It was Sammy Guevara, Sammy's ex-girlfriend, and then Tramel. We made a whole storyline about that, and it was almost on every fucking show. 2023, Chris Jericho. And last year, 2024, was Tony Khan. I know you're not going to be surprised, but do I do the drum roll? Let me see. Do I? It sounds like the Flintstones.
It does. We'll take it. I won. God damn it, pal.
He is Vince McMahon, wins the What the Fuckinator. He is the champion. What the fuck? He won the most. I didn't even look at the number, but he was the most. He was person that we mentioned the most, and you know why? There was all kinds of stuff. He had the lawsuit. He had the stuff with Laurinaitis. Historical content. We talked about him and stuff that he did on the airplane. Standing ovation references about him. He also he had that celebration, his birthday celebration, and we had a bunch of people showing up to that. Just a bunch of stuff about Vince this year, and all I can say is congratulations, Vince. We do appreciate you still being part of the business.
And the irony is, he's been away from WWE this entire year, but he did more newsworthy things away from the WWE than being around it. So kudos for that, Vince.
That lawsuit got him in there a lot, though. I know that.
For sure. Because news stuff would come out every other week, and you're like, wait, what? He did what?
Yeah,
With
something
who?
news like, no. All right, guys, same bad time, same bad channel on the best little wrestling podcast in the business. Be there for our Patreon. We're going to take a look at some stuff that my old buddy Jeff Jarrett said. And as everyone knows, Gene, you know this by now, I love my mama. All right, Patreon. And you know this by now, Gene. I got to go pee.
Yes, I couldn't believe you made it this far, actually.
All right, Patreon. Stick with me. I'm going to load these videos real quick. I just found this interesting from Jeff talking about Meltzer, and there's something else where he's talking about the finish of the Cena match. And since we talk about Meltzer all the time, I thought it was fun for him. All right, here we go.
He writes, Gail Kim did a promo where James Storm showed up. Storm is good at being the drunken asshole redneck character. Storm bullied her and gave her 1 week to decide what to do. Basically, go back to the family's Korean restaurant waiting tables or manage him. They kept emphasizing how TNA doesn't have a women's division, so clearly the end of the story is they will have a women's division. They can't afford the time for it at this point, and they're also way behind the curve. Unfortunately, people have been womened to death. Nobody cares about seeing women wrestle as a novelty. If they're good, there's nothing wrong with them, but to do it for the sake of doing it isn't going to make any difference. What do you think of Dave Meltzer's words there?
Dave's a hater. He's an early adopter hater of TNA. If TNA would have said it was sun shining, Dave would have said, nope, it's raining, regardless if he looked at the weather report. Dave was, and I didn't really realize it until we got to doing this podcast, how much of a hater, how much of a critique, but you kind of have become a lot better listener over the 8 years. When he published one time that there's only been 2 promoters that never subscribed to his newsletter, Don Owen and Jeff Jarrett, I went, ooh. There's your sign. Dave's Dave.
No, expand on that.
He just look. I have the luxury of looking back, but Dave's narrative on TNA was always very, very, for the most part. Now you can find bits and pieces. He will for the most part, but he made sure his readers and listeners, and maybe it was a Russo thing, maybe it was a Russo Jarrett, maybe it was, hey, I perceive that they didn't treat Jerry Jarrett. He didn't know a freaking clue about the real story. I perceive that they maybe didn't show him the proper respect, but you can just go back and look through history. Kurt Angle's never had a 5-star match. What? And Kurt said himself his best work was in TNA. I mean, you just little bits and pieces. So anyway, I don't know exactly where you mean to expand on it, but
well, you said there's 2 promoters who've never subscribed, Don Owen and Jeff Jarrett, and you said, "Oh, here's your sign." Tell me about that.
He knew that I didn't subscribe, not only physically, but to his line of thinking. He that I didn't give much, all due respect, and maybe it's a Jerry Jarrett ingrained, the quote, "It's not the critic that counts, it's the man in the arena." And I was always the man in the arena, and the metrics I've always gone after my entire life are the real numbers, ratings, box office, merch sales, tangible things, not opinions. Now, of course, you got to listen and take it all in and all that. And look, we've talked about it. Had I played the PR game better, like a lot better with Dave, I think the narrative on TNA would have been radically different, like radically different. And Mike Tenay and Meltzer have been good friends all through the years. He was always very complimentary of Mike. Well, the perception, and I think Mike did what he could do through the years, but sometimes the perception that Mike is more of a traditionalist in professional wrestling. So anything Russo touched, it was negative. Just kind of the filters. Dave was never much he was never really a TNA supporter. And contrary, and look, I've said it, the buy rates sucked. But when you get the ratings we got, and Dave was always very, very dismissive of the ratings. Matter of fact, in hindsight, now that I viewed this, I'm just like, well, damn, he never gave any credit.
So, there we go. Thank you. I just want to bring that up. A few things. He never subscribed to the Observer. He did get, through me and other people, did get stuff from the Observer. But when he was with TNA, he was not subscribing to anything. My question is, and it's always been about, and you may have an answer, why did Dave just hate TNA so much? Because their numbers overall, when it comes to ratings, has always been proven better for an extended period of time than AEW was when Jeff was running it.
Yeah, and you'd think with them popularizing the X division, I mean, that was Dave's kind of wrestling right there. You think that alone would have won him over. Like Jeff said, I don't know if it's because of a dislike for Russo or the fact that he's insulted that Jeff didn't subscribe, and that didn't earn him any points. But I mean, yeah, they did a lot of silly shit on the front end there. The Johnsons and all that dumb shit. But overall, I would have thought that X Division alone would have been enough for him to at least give that credit. So I don't really know. I don't know. I can't really say what I would put my finger on to be the reason that Dave never gave TNA credit. But yeah, from what I ever saw, he certainly didn't.
Didn't make any sense because TNA was having some of the craziest matches and also having. How do you not give Kurt Angle 5 stars? I've never understood that. I've said this many years. I really think Kurt Angle, and I picked him. No, I didn't. Sean Stasiak. To me, is the greatest pure wrestler ever. And me. I mean, that's my opinion. I think he had great I seen him have a 5-star match with EC3, and he couldn't barely walk. He understood the business as much or better than anyone else has ever been able to put together a match and be entertaining. That's just me. Now, it's not me being just a fan of everything he did, but it's me, some people say Ric Flair. Some people say Bret Hart. Some people say this person, that person. To me, how a person like Angle could never have 5 stars explains to me that Dave wasn't watching TNA, wasn't going to watch TNA.
Yeah, I've said for a long time the fact that Kurt Angle has never been, awarded a 5-star match does more to discredit Dave's star system than it does to diminish Kurt Angle's in-ring abilities, because Lord knows he's had a bunch of them. He had some in WWF, Shawn Michaels. Some of those matches are outstanding, but then like the matches with Samoa Joe and different ones he was a part of. Like I say, to me it just completely discredits Dave's star system and really his opinion to a certain degree.
I had a video, and I'm not going to play it because Jeff got a lot of press from this, and I don't know. That's the reason I did grab it, but I don't think we have an answer for this, but I'm going to throw it up there anyway. So Jeff had clickbait, I think, where he said, the Cena finish was the stupidest thing they ever done. And we've seen it from a few people, fans.
Yeah.
From now after the fact, we talked about this on Hot Mics, but after the fact, what do you think it was just a horrible finish? You can't judge it yet? Or can we judge it yet?
I never thought it was a bad finish.
Me neither.
Especially, so I had my theory that we talked about on Hot Mics the day after. And I told you how I took that finish, as far as like the smirk and the way that he tapped out and all that. And then a few days later, Cena went on Cody Rhodes' podcast, and he basically explained it almost verbatim what my theory was, that it was him signaling that he had reached a time where he knew it was time to step aside. And he was smiling because of everything he had accomplished, and he knew it was time, and was in there with the right guy, and that's why he had the smirk on his face. And it wouldn't have done anything for anybody for him to win that match. I don't know how much it's going to do for Gunther, letting Gunther be the one to win the match, because, like I say, maybe I'm the only one that's hung up on it, but it still bugs me that he tapped out to Jey Uso, a guy who had never won a match by submission, and here Gunther's a submission master, and then he taps out to Uso, and then a few months later, they got him retiring Cena. But no, I didn't think it was a bad finish. I kept saying that link over and over. Jeff Jarrett says it's stupid. Jeff Jarrett. I never even clicked on it, and so I don't really know what his defense of that is. But I don't see how a guy who had been the son of a promoter for all those years and then a promoter himself could call that finish stupid unless he's just talking about one aspect of it,
Yeah. The deal is, it's old timey. We always know it. The person staying gets the win. That's just kind of what it's always been. They talked about him, and Conrad talked about the gate. That was the largest arena gate of all time for Cena. But they also talked about, why didn't they put it in an arena or something? I mean, in a football stadium, stadium. And after seeing the numbers, I think they made the perfect decision. The cost probably was minimum compared to a stadium. And, more people, are they going to be able to charge as much and blah, blah, blah. But this was the biggest gate ever. So, I mean, how can you say that they made a mistake by doing it that way?
Yeah, exactly. And I just don't see, as critical as people had been of Cena over the years, and yeah, he kind of won them over towards the end, it seemed, because the whole crowd was pro Cena there. I just feel like even some of the ones who were criticizing the finish, had Cena won, would have been online the next day going, oh, Cena couldn't even lose on his way out. He had to win his retirement match. Oh, or old fucking Paul Levesque making us get a win from Cena. So I don't know. People were going to bitch either way. I thought they did the right thing, but I mean, what do I know?
find it just odd that I don't know, man. The internet. I've told Misty this. If it wasn't for getting as many views as I do on Facebook, I might just delete it. And social media is everything for us. And I've made my social media account nothing about me. I think I made one post in the last 6 months that was personal. I made one on New Year's Eve. Pretty much told everyone, if you don't want to talk to me, fuck off. So that was kind of my something personal that I just wanted someone to read. So, but other than that, it's a business site. It's not anything else. And real quick before we get off here, I do want to play this so that you can remember what Jeff Jarrett said about me.
This guy, good God. I mean, just his charisma, his talent, everything about Brian. I think he's been, I think he's one of the most talented guys, certainly top 3 or 4 that I've ever been around. There's really nothing that he can't do.
There you go.
That needs to be your intro on all your podcasts.
He's talking about Road Dogg, but what the hell?
Yeah.
It sounds good.
Yeah.
He did mention me on the podcast a couple of times. But yeah, and it's crazy when you have somebody like that mention you. That's all you fucking hear for like 3 weeks. Hey, did you listen to Jeff Jarrett? He said something about you. I was like, yeah, I've heard.
Lord,
that.
when he did the Eddie Gilbert episode, I had 100 people literally message me within
just
24
crazy.
hours.
All right, guys, we appreciate it. Thank you, Gene. Like I said, I've got some ideas for 2026, which may change what we do here. It may just stay the same. Who the fuck knows? We may just throw it out the window. Who knows? I don't know what I'm going to do. I haven't decided yet. This show, and I am one of those guys that will be, I'm always honest with people, Gene. I don't want to shit on nobody. And I'm not saying that to be sarcastic, but Lance wrote this, worked on this, and for me taking out the task, there is a lot more to doing it than just sitting in doing it, and it is always a chore when we're getting everything ready. It's kind of the reverse. And somebody messaged me. What's his name? Brain Olastos. It's a total different show. It is. We changed the show. It's fun, but there's a lot of work to it. So if I can find not a lot of work, a better version of this, we talked about doing one every other week or something, but I don't even want to do that. So I don't know. Yeah. You never know. Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining us. Thanks, Gene.
Thank you, and Happy New Year, everybody. Whatever this turns into or spins into or stays the same, we're happy that everybody has been joining us, and we're excited. 2025 was a big year for both of us, Brian, in podcasting. We stumbled onto something to help us get an even better footing and raise our numbers, and hopefully 2026 will have even more growth and just continue to improve.
Yeah, it's just crazy where you I've said this every week, two episodes on an average for 7 years, and that it's just a constant. You have to have that podcast out. You have to be constantly, and it's paid off by getting other avenues, your site, and getting other people in front of it when I do a podcast for a whole different network. I think that's helped. We've ended up getting WrestleTopia's people. We've got Gene Jackson's people. And we got my people all together, and a lot of people digging it. So, and if you're not a Patreon member, you're not hearing this, but we do appreciate all the Patreon stuff that you send us, so that this will be on Gene's speed and mine. All right. Thanks, Gene. I'm ending it right now. All right. I got to play the intro so I can take the intro and put it in the front. Thank you, Gene. I appreciate it. Have a great day.
You too, bud. Hey, the one thing I was going to say at the beginning, I did finally I got a interview Tuesday morning at 9:45. So
woo! I got one Monday.
How that goes. Well, good luck, man.
Good luck to you too. I'll see you Sunday.
All right. Thanks.
Later.
Later.